Hello, my name is Jess. I just got out of the shower and I have allergies. And I am going to help you improve your Continental knitting, I hope. This is day 2, number 2 of a week of mini tutorials every day. I didn't intend to make 2 knitting tutorials in a row, but Katie and Joe Mack commented on my video from yesterday about knitting and crocheting, saying that she only learned crochet so that she could learn Continental knitting, and she still hasn't learned it. So I wanted to make a video trying to help her out. I actually knit Continental because I originally learned how to crochet, or at least the way I hold the yarn for crochet is the same as Continental knitting. This video is not a tutorial for complete beginners. It assumes you already know how to knit, like the throwing method, the English method. I assume you know how to cast on, I assume you know how to bind off. We're only talking knits and purls. Continental knitting is just a different way to hold the yarn. You're doing everything with your left hand. You got the yarn in your left hand, you got your live stitches in your left hand, and your right hand is just kind of moseying on. This is how you do it, guys. Tutorial over. If you have been struggling with Continental knitting, I just want to give some troubleshooting tips. Things you can try, things you can practice to begin with. For me, 90% of Continental knitting is in these fingers, my pinky and my pointer finger. My pinky is controlling the tension of the yarn, and my pointer finger is guiding the yarn into the place it needs to be so that my right hand needle can just grab it or push it or whatever it needs to do. So if you're struggling, I would recommend just practicing your tension. Tension is probably the hardest part of knitting, regardless of which method you choose, because it's going to affect how tight your stitches are or how loose your stitches are. We're going to practice tension, but we're also going to embrace that it's hard and it might suck at first. Here's the suck. Just embrace it. That's my life motto. Embrace the suck. So first things first, I recommend just getting out your needles and your yarn and working up some stitches in the method you prefer, so you have something to work with. I hate working into cast-on stitches. I'm not gonna make you do that. Don't work into cast-on stitches when you're trying to learn Continental. Give yourself a nice, easy foundation to work with. I'm gonna teach you how I hold the yarn. There are a couple of other different ways to do it. I don't know them. I'm teaching you what I know and what works for me. And if you get into this and figure out a better method that works for you, great, that's perfect. So here's your working yarn, right? You're gonna put your hand over it, palm down. You're gonna take your pinky finger, you're gonna just over the yarn, and then pull up a loop. Palm, pinky, pull up a loop. Cool, so here is your pinky loop. And what your pinky loop does, squeezes the yarn and releases it. So practice that. Practice just squeezing the yarn and releasing it on your pinky in that loop. Tighten, release. Tighten, release, tighten, release. So what you're doing here is you're just kind of practicing letting go of that pinky a little bit, just to give yourself that next smidge of yarn that you need to make your next stitch. And you can just practice this while you're watching TV. Just practice your tension on your pinky. All right, now we're gonna get the pointer finger involved. Your pointer finger is going to be in charge of just putting the yarn where it needs to go. It just kind of rocks back and forth and guides the ship. So you got your pinky tension. Your next step is to just slide that pointer finger up under the yarn. Start out really close to your needle so that you have a little bit of space to give. It's much easier to start close and kind of let the yarn go a little bit than it is to start way far away and you'll just have to re-grip. So now, just grab the stitches on your needle in between your ring finger and thumb. And from there, kind of play around with moving your pointer finger. You want the yarn to be laying between your 2 knuckles. I would also, because we're gonna do it when we purl, practice kind of scooping your finger down and pushing on it. Have we practiced tension enough? Don't just skip over that part. Actually practice that. Take the time to practice it, because the muscle memory you have from the tension is going to be most of the movement while you're knitting. My next tip is to keep your active stitches that you're working, keep them close to the tips of the needle. It's going to make it a lot easier to slide those stitches from one needle to the next. If you've got your stitches like way down on the needle and you've got to make a stitch and then drag it all the way off the needle, it's a pain in the butt. Use your thumb and your middle finger to push the next stitch forward. I like to hang on to the stitch I'm about to work with my ring finger and hold back the stitches I don't want to fall off the needle with my thumb. So let's knit a dang stitch. Now you're going to take your right hand needle and poke the tip through the front of the stitch. And then you're just going to kind of open the stitch up like a window. It's just a little window, and now you can peer through the stitch and you can actually see your working yarn. And if you are holding it properly, it should just be laying right diagonally across the stitch. So you open up your stitch, there's the window, and there is your yarn right there, just waiting for you to grab it with your right hand needle. So all you're gonna do is scoop your right hand needle down. Keep that window open wide and just grab that grab that yarn and pull it through. You shouldn't have to do much more than that. So make a window behind the yarn, grab it, pull it through. Window, there's your yarn, grab it, pull it through. Window, yarn, grab it, pull it through. Now you'll note, again, I'm working on the tips of my needles. I'm able to make my window nice and wide doing it this way. If I put my yarn down towards the back of my needles on the fat part, you'll note when I go to make my window, there's a lot of the stitch that's still hanging out on the needle, kind of getting in the way, and it makes it a lot harder to just pop the yarn through. I kind of have to maneuver it a lot more, mush it down. The window just isn't as wide, so by working on the tips of the needle, you can just open that window, grab that sucker, and that's your knit stitch. Easy friggin' peasy, right? The more you do it, the easier it'll be. You'll get the feel for it and you won't have to pull the stitch open quite as wide. Your window will just sort of naturally create itself. Your yarn will fall where it needs to fall, but it's just gonna take practice. And now we're gonna purl. Don't freak out. Purling is just what we just did, but backwards. It's easy as that. Just do it backwards. Look at this. Look at how easy it is to bring the yarn from back to front when you're continental knitting. You don't have to do anything but just swing your right needle back and forth. It's in the back, it's knitting. It's in the front, it's purling. Back, knitting, front, purling. Wow! Purling. We're gonna go in the back of the stitch this time. Back of the stitch. And open up that window. You can tip your left hand back so the yarn kind of rolls itself over the point of the needle. And you're just gonna push that pointer finger down like we practiced in the tension exercises. Push that pointer finger down, and now your window's open. All you have to do is swing your needle back. Swing it straight back through your open window, and that is your purl stitch. Back of the stitch, open up a window. Tip your hand a little bit back so it scoops over the needle, and then just push your pointer finger down. You got that tension on the yarn really nice and tight. Not too tight. You don't want to make it impossible to get into your stitches. And then swing that needle back. Swing it straight back through your window. Straight back through your window. Boom. You just purled. Guys, that's it. That's all there is to it. Now you are a perfect continental knitter, right? Seriously though, a lot of it is just practice, doing it over and over and over again. But if you have no interest in learning continental knitting, if it just looks awful and terrible and you don't want to do it, don't do it. Don't let anyone tell you that you have to learn continental knitting because it's faster. It's faster for me because I've practiced it a bunch, but I guarantee you that if we were throwing together, some of you guys could throw me under the table because I suck at it, because I never do it. There's nothing you can do with continental knitting that you can't do throwing. Either way, you're gonna create the same Tom Baker scarf. That's it. I'm doing a tutorial a day for a week. This was number 2. If you have any suggestions of what I should do for the rest of the week, please leave it in the comments. It doesn't have to be knitting related. It can be Etsy related, YouTube related, hoop related even. Thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions at all, leave them in the comments. My name is Jess. I hope you are having a beautiful day, and I will see you the next time I make a video. Goodbye.